Have you ever had one of those mornings where your body just doesn't want to cooperate? Maybe your knees feel a little stiff, your balance seems off, or it just takes longer to get out of bed than it used to. And you start to wonder, what happens when these little struggles start piling up? Will there come a time when you can't manage on your own anymore? If that thought has ever crossed your mind, you're not alone. It's one of the most common worries I hear from people over 60, 70, even 80. No one wants to lose their independence. No one wants to feel like a burden. And most of us, deep down, want to stay in our own homes, living life on our own terms, for as long as possible. That's exactly why this simple 10-minute routine we're going to talk about today matters so much. It's not magic, and it's not hard. You don't need fancy equipment or a personal trainer. Just your body, your breath, and a little bit of intention. Because the truth is, most of the things that send older adults into nursing homes aren't major diseases, they're falls, weakness, and the slow fading of everyday function. And that's something we can work on right now. Let's start with the morning. Because how you begin your day often determines how the rest of it goes. Think about this. If the first thing you do each morning is shuffle to the bathroom and collapse back into your recliner, your body stays in rest mode. It doesn't wake up, and over time, your muscles start to forget what they're supposed to do. Now imagine a different kind of morning. You get up, stretch your arms high toward the ceiling, take a deep breath, and plant your feet firmly on the ground. Already, your body is sending a message to your brain: I'm awake. I'm moving. I'm here. That's where the 10-minute routine begins. And no, it's not some complicated fitness class or painful series of movements. We're talking about gentle stretches, balance boosters, and small strength builders. Just enough to tell your muscles and joints, hey, we're still in business. One woman I spoke to, 78 years old and living alone, told me how she used to feel unsteady every morning. She was scared to get out of bed too fast, and sometimes she skipped breakfast just because she didn't trust herself to stand long enough to make toast. Then her neighbor showed her a short routine she could do right at the edge of her bed. It started with ankle circles, toe taps, then a few deep breaths with her arms raised. Within a week, she said she felt stronger. Not Olympic athlete strong, but steady. Capable. Less afraid. That's the kind of strength we're after here. Not the kind you show off at the gym, but the kind that lets you carry your groceries, walk up your own front steps, or get out of the bathtub without worrying if you'll slip. And it's not just about the physical benefits. Moving with intention, even for just 10 minutes a day, sends a powerful message to your own mind: I still care about myself. I still take charge. And when you feel that way, you act that way. Suddenly, you're more likely to make yourself a proper breakfast, open the windows, go for a short walk, or call someone you care about. All those little moments add up, and they're what help keep you independent. Now, let's talk about one of the most important parts of this whole routine: balance. As we age, balance can quietly start to decline without us even realizing it. Until one day, you reach for something on the counter, lose your footing, and suddenly the world tilts. That's how so many avoidable falls begin, not with a big mistake, but with a small misstep. The good news is that balance can be improved, just like a muscle. And it doesn't take a lot. One of the most effective movements you can do is simply stand on one foot while holding the back of a chair. At first, you might only manage 5 seconds. That's okay. The goal is progress, not perfection. A few seconds today becomes 10 seconds next week. And over time, your body learns how to steady itself again. Another helpful move is the sit to stand. You just sit down in a chair and then stand back up, without using your hands if possible. It strengthens your legs and reminds your brain how to coordinate those everyday motions. These little movements are so simple, but they are the very things that keep you out of a wheelchair, out of assisted living, and in control of your own life. One gentleman I know, 82 years old, does this every morning before his coffee. Just 5 sit-to-stands, then stretches his arms overhead, and finally takes a slow walk around his living room. He told me, it's not about being young again. It's about staying useful, And that, to me, is the heart of this whole thing. You don't need to aim for youth. You don't need to aim for perfection. You just need to stay useful to yourself in your own space, doing the things that bring you dignity. So if you've ever wondered how to avoid the slow slide into dependence, or how to stay out of a nursing home as long as possible, the answer might be simpler than you think. 10 minutes a day. That's it. Not because someone told you to, but because you chose to. For your strength. For your balance. For your life. If you're still watching and feel that these insights are meaningful, please type number 2 in the comments to let me know you're still with me. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I warmly invite you to do so, and don't forget to turn on the bell, so you won't miss any of our upcoming videos designed to uplift, inform, and inspire. Your support truly means a lot. It's what keeps us going and allows us to continue sharing thoughtful, helpful content just for you. Now, let's continue this journey together. Now that we've talked about how simple movements like balance and sit-to-stand exercises can make a big difference, let's keep going. Because avoiding a nursing home isn't just about strength, it's also about building confidence in the daily things. The little routines that give you rhythm and control, even when the world around you feels uncertain. Let's talk about posture for a moment. You might be thinking, what does standing up straight have to do with staying independent? Well, it turns out, a lot. When your posture starts to slip, everything else slowly follows. Your balance suffers, your breathing gets shallow, and even your digestion slows down. And yet, most of us spend hours each day slumped in chairs or looking down at our feet as we walk. It becomes habit, and before long, we feel smaller, not just physically, but mentally too. But with just a couple minutes of posture work each day, you can change that. Try standing with your back against the wall, heels touching the baseboard, and shoulders pressed gently back. Hold that for a few breaths. Feel your chest open. Feel your spine lengthen. That's not just physical correction, it's a message to yourself, I'm upright. I'm present. I'm not fading, I'm showing up. It's amazing how much more steady you feel when your body aligns properly. A little posture work in your 10-minute routine helps keep you walking tall, seeing where you're going, and carrying yourself with quiet confidence. Now let's talk about your breath. Yes, breath. Something so simple, yet so powerful. When's the last time you really paid attention to how you're breathing? For many people, especially after 60, the breath gets shallow, only reaching the upper chest. That kind of breathing keeps you in a low state of stress, where your muscles stay tense and your mind feels foggy. But when you take a few minutes to breathe deeply, from the belly, you're activating something called the parasympathetic nervous system. It's like flipping a switch in your body that says, you're safe. You're calm. You're okay. Try it with me right now, if you'd like. Sit comfortably, place a hand on your belly, and inhale slowly through your nose. Feel your stomach rise, not your chest. Hold for a second, then exhale gently through your mouth. Do that 3 or 4 times, slowly. Feel how your body softens. That's you taking back control, right there in your breath. Many seniors tell me that when they start their day with a few minutes of focused breathing, they feel more in charge, not just physically, but emotionally. They're less likely to panic if they feel unsteady. Less likely to react with fear when something unexpected happens. That calm, centered feeling you get from deep breathing, that's what carries you through the day with strength and grace. Another piece of this routine that often gets overlooked is grip strength. You might not think about your hands until you start struggling to open a jar or hold onto a railing. But grip strength is a key predictor of overall health and independence. When your hands are strong, you feel more confident doing everyday tasks, like holding a cup of tea, pulling yourself up from a chair, or using a cane if needed. One easy exercise? Squeeze a soft ball or even a rolled-up sock for a few seconds at a time. Do it while watching TV or listening to music. You don't need weights or machines. Just consistent effort. Those fingers and wrists will thank you, and you'll feel that sense of, yes, I can still do this. And let's not forget flexibility. Many of the people I've worked with say they don't realize how stiff they've gotten until they try to reach down for something or turn to look behind them. Flexibility isn't just about touching your toes, it's about being able to get dressed, step into the shower, or look over your shoulder when backing out of the driveway. That's why your 10-minute routine should include some gentle twists, shoulder rolls, and leg stretches. Nothing extreme. Just movements that keep you limber enough to handle real life. One gentleman told me he added seated torso twists while sitting at his breakfast table, just side to side, while sipping his coffee. After a couple weeks, he was able to reach the seatbelt in his car without strain, and that one small win made him feel 10 years younger. You see, these tiny daily practices, they build up. They're not just exercises. They're reminders that you're still here, still capable, and still worthy of investing in. So far, you've got your breath, your posture, your balance, your strength, and your flexibility all working together. And what ties it all together is consistency. You don't need to do it perfectly. You just need to show up for yourself every day, even if it's just for 10 minutes. Because that choice, that act of care, is what keeps you from slowly slipping into dependence. One woman shared with me that every morning, before making her tea, she'd go through her little checklist: deep breath, shoulder rolls, one leg stand, sit to stand, gentle stretches. It became her rhythm. And even though she lives alone, she told me she never feels helpless. Because she's in the habit of helping herself. And that's what this is all about, not proving something to others, not chasing youth, but creating a life where you feel good in your own skin. Where you move through your space with ease. Where you wake up knowing that you've still got something strong and steady inside of you. Now let's bring it all together, because this isn't just about a set of exercises or a checklist. It's about building a habit that quietly says, every single day, I'm not giving up. I'm not fading away. I'm choosing to stay strong for me. And it only takes 10 minutes. We've talked about balance, breath, posture, flexibility, and grip strength, but there's one more piece that's just as important, and it's this: your mindset. See, what often nudges people toward nursing homes isn't always their physical ability. It's how they feel about their ability. It's the fear that they might fall. The belief that they can't manage. That voice in the back of the mind saying, what if I can't keep up anymore? And once that voice gets louder than your will to try, independence starts to slip. But here's the beautiful part: you can train your mindset just like you train your muscles. It starts by replacing doubt with small wins. Every time you go through your 10-minute routine and do just one thing a little better than the day before, you're rewriting the story in your head. You're reminding yourself that you're not powerless. You're capable. And that feeling grows. I remember a woman in her late 70s who used to say she felt invisible. Her kids meant well, but they were always doing things for her, ordering her food, fixing her furniture, even choosing what she should wear to family dinners. It was all out of love, of course. But she said one day she looked in the mirror and realized, I haven't made my own decisions in weeks. So she started small. Each morning, she'd stand in front of that same mirror, take a deep breath, roll her shoulders back, and say out loud, I'm still here. I'm still in charge. Then she'd do her 10-minute routine, not for exercise, but as an act of reclaiming space in her own life. And over time, that sense of ownership spilled into everything. She began choosing her own clothes again, making her own appointments, even planning a short trip with a group of friends from her church. That's the power of mindset. It doesn't just lift your spirits, it shifts the way you live. So as you build this 10-minute habit, don't just think of it as staying out of a nursing home. Think of it as creating a daily moment of empowerment, a ritual of self-respect, a promise to yourself that your story isn't over and you still get to decide how it unfolds. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, what if I miss a day? What if I don't feel up to it sometimes? And the answer is simple: it's okay. This routine isn't about perfection. It's about showing up for yourself as best you can, wherever you are. Even if all you do one morning is sit, take 3 deep breaths, and stretch your arms, that still counts. That's still a signal to your body and your brain that you're engaged with your life, that you care enough about your own well-being to stay in the driver's seat. And if there are days when you feel discouraged, I want you to remember this: there are people much younger than you who wish they had your wisdom, your experience, your strength. Aging doesn't take that away, it amplifies it. But only if you keep leaning into life with courage. So here's what I'd love for you to do: carve out 10 minutes each day. Pick a time, morning, afternoon, whenever you feel most clear. Start with breath, move your body gently, check your posture, challenge your balance, stretch just enough to feel a release. Maybe squeeze that ball or stand up without your hands. And as you do, whisper something kind to yourself. Maybe it's, "I've still got this." Or "one day stronger." Or even just, "I'm proud of me." Those words matter. They stick. They shape how you walk through your home, how you answer the phone, how you carry yourself in the world. Because the real reason this routine keeps people out of nursing homes isn't just physical. It's emotional. It builds the kind of resilience that keeps you reaching for the light switch instead of waiting for someone to do it for you. It keeps you opening the front door, stepping outside, and saying, "Yes, I can still live this life on my terms." And you deserve that. So take this message with you: it's never too late to start. You don't need fancy gear, a trainer, or a big plan. You just need those 10 minutes and the willingness to believe in yourself again. If this video has inspired you even a little, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Have you tried a daily routine like this before? What's one thing you do each day that helps you feel more independent? Share it in the comments. Your experience might be just what someone else needs to hear today. And if you found this helpful, please give the video a thumbs up. It helps us reach more wonderful people like you. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We've got plenty more uplifting and practical tips coming your way.